Wayward Magic, Chapter 12. The Wonders of the Ladyhawke. Wonder, wonder, wonder. Dara's thoughts continue to echo through our minds, and wonder is as good a word as any. Everything inside this thing is a wonder. We stand in the cave, watching as Raven touches a spot on one of the pylons supporting this thing that is not a house, and instead of a door opening, a large ramp lowers down. She turns to us, considering something, and says, "Maybe hitch the horses outside. Leave them in the cave. They might not be comfortable inside, but you guys, come on in." None of us move. Raven sighs. "Guys, it's like a big shiny house, okay? Just trust me. It's fine, I promise. Now, come on. I really could use a shower and a change of clothes." Raven lashes the reins of her own horse to her giant shiny house, and Cressa asks her, "What's a shower?" And so we do as Raven asks. We leave the horses hitched and walk up the ramp. She may have called it a ship of spaces, which, again, makes no sense because how can you ship space? But it is actually a ship of wonders. The walls, floor, and ceiling are all hard and smooth like metal, as bright and shiny as the outside. Light pours into every corner from bright white circles of light. They give off no smoke and no heat, simply pure light. It almost hurts my eyes, it is so bright. And everything is so clean. I stop and look at my feet, realizing we are tracking dirt and dust onto Raven's clean floors. Raven simply chuckles. "It's fine, I'll take care of that later. Come on in, I'll show you around. It's designed to be lived in, so..." I frown a little at that statement. Of course it is designed for living. What else would you possibly do in something this large except live in it? Besides the light and the shiny clean floors, there are doors that slide open on their own without a touch. Cressa stares in fear at an open doorway where a door had once been a moment ago, trying to understand where the door went. Like Cressa, I am terrified, but Sophia simply smiles and runs her hand along the smooth metal. She nods and whispers, "Well, I'll be damned." She goes through without hesitation, and Dara does as well, so Cressa and I follow. Wonders upon wonders upon wonders. Raven shows us soft beds and blankets made of a material I have never seen, so much softer than the rough cottons and wools I am used to. In the kitchen, Raven shows us things that are beyond simple wonders. They are miracles. Water that flows in gushes without having to man a pump. A large rectangular food pantry built into the wall that is cold inside. Raven says that it is always cold. And it is not just the light chill of a cold box built into the ground. This is cold like the heart of winter. This is a feeling of snow and ice, cold so deep it hurts to touch for longer than a moment. And Raven has it trapped in a box. "For keeping food fresh," she says, and we all stare in awe. Oh, and despite all the light that floods from the entire surface, it is not hot inside. This many torches and braziers set right next to us would have us all sweating. But not only do we not feel the heat of the light, I feel a soft breeze on my skin. A breeze! A breeze inside, with no windows open. The air is so cold, in fact, that my skin dimples. Such a thing can only be called a miracle. And then Raven shows us the water closet, which I have heard her refer to as a bathroom. In our travels, she has referred to doing our necessaries as using the bathroom, which makes no sense to me at all because there is no bathing involved in it. And here, in the room that Raven is showing us now, there is not even a bathing tub. Raven stands next to a tall, narrow rectangle of metal and glass. It stretches from ceiling to floor, and the walls are so close together that a person could not extend their arms out without touching glass. Raven calls it a stall, which seems odd, because on a farm, a stall is where you keep the animals. "So," Raven says with a smile, "this is a shower." She pushes a marked circle on the wall, and inside the stall, water begins to pour out in a gentle spray from the ceiling straight down, and then the water disappears down a small hole in the floor. We all look at it, unimpressed. We have seen falling water before. "Rain?" Dara offers a questioning look to Raven. Raven chuckles. "Feel it. Tell me if it feels like rain." Dara frowns, hesitant, and then slowly reaches a hand out. Her eyes go instantly wide. Warm, 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 so very warm. Her face explodes in joy as we all watch the dirt and dust wash slowly off her hand. A standing bath, and it feels so very good. Dara is about to climb into the stall, dust-covered dress and all, when Raven puts a hand on her shoulder, stopping her. Hold on there, kiddo, Raven laughs. Slow down. It's also like a bath in that it works better if you go in without the dress on. We can clean the clothes separately. How about this? There should be enough hot water for about 2 hours, and then the tank needs to recharge. So let's limit it to about 15 minutes each. There's soap and towels over here, and I want to try it first, Cressa says decisively. Dara looks slightly disappointed until Sophia says, Dara, why don't we go eat while we wait our turn? We have a little bit of bread and cheese left. Oh, yeah, no, Raven replies. Hold off on the bread and cheese. I can get you some better stuff from storage. Maybe some hot soup, does that sound good? Dara forgets all about the shower, and Sophia gives Raven a look that seems to be part grateful and part skeptical, and rightfully so. How can Raven possibly be thinking of making soup? We haven't even built a fire, and it would take an hour just to ready the broth. Cressa reaches out and takes me by the wrist before I can follow Raven, Sophia, and Dara out of the room. You know, Cressa says quietly, you don't have to wait. We could simply take a shower together. I frown and shoot her a deep scowl. Absolutely not. I point to the tiny chamber of falling water. It is impossibly small in there. We would be crowded beyond words. How could I possibly expect to clean myself properly with you elbowing me in the stomach every time you turn around? No, I will simply wait my turn. Truly, sometimes I wonder if the girl was born with no wits at all. Cressa just smiles and shrugs. Your loss. And then she begins to undress before I even have a chance to leave the room. The girl seems to be very eager to get clean. I walk the narrow passageway from the water closet to the kitchen, and apparently there are more wonders in Raven's world than I can possibly imagine because I can already smell it before I step into the room. Soup. Wonderful, wild, delicious aromas. How is that even possible? I stare in amazement to see Dara and Sophia already sitting at a small round table, leaning over 2 steaming bowls of dark broth. Raven smiles and sets a third bowl out. By the gods, I stammer. How? How? You have made soup in mere minutes? And with no fire? And how? Raven simply chuckles softly. Sit down, kiddo. Tell me what you think. I sit in front of the bowl. As I do so, I notice absently that my chair is not wood, but it does not feel like metal either. But I am drawn back to this delicious-smelling bowl of, well, it does not look like any soup I have made before. But it is hot and smells of beef and vegetables, and I dip my spoon in and take a small slurp. I consider it. It is not as good as my mother's, I say quietly, because it is true. But by the gods alive, it is delicious, because that is also true. My bowl is nearly empty by the time Cressa walks into the kitchen, barefoot and dripping, wrapped in a fluffy towel that is so large that for a moment I think she is wrapped in a blanket. Cressa brushes a hand through her short, straw-colored hair and says, Raven, my dearest friend, thank you, because you have given me what could possibly be the most glorious experience of my entire life. Then she pauses. Well, perhaps the second most glorious. Either way, I am never taking a simple bath again. It's showers for me for the rest of my life. Then she stares at the table. Gods be damned, is that soup? Dara holds up an empty bowl. Is there more? Sophia gives her a sympathetic smile. Come now, girl, don't. Oh, no, it's okay, Raven says. There's plenty. Sophia blinks. Oh, well then. She holds out an empty bowl of her own, if it's not too much trouble. It suddenly occurs to me that Cressa and I have been living and eating off of Raven's coin for some time now, and while the travel has been hard, when we do stop, the food is good, and we have eaten our fill. Sophia and Dara had the farm, but in order to stay hidden, they must have had to be spare with their money to make it last. I think I will go clean off now. I stand up from the table, and as I pass Cressa, I swear it is as if I can feel the heat and steam radiating from her body. I feel it paint my cheeks pink. Cressa gives me a soft smile. "Enjoy your shower, Tam." She lowers her voice to a whisper. "It is amazing." It turns out that Cressa was not exaggerating or overstating how wonderful taking a shower feels. The water is hot, and the pressure of the water beating against my muscles after days and days a horse is glorious. I feel weeks of exhaustion and fatigue melt away, while days of dirt and dust are washed down the drain below. The soap that Raven pointed out is not a rough, solid bar, but rather some type of thick liquid. It feels gloriously soft on my skin as it foams up, and it smells like flowers and wild berries. I feel unbelievably good. I scrub my long curls with soap and wash my entire body, face to toes, and then I go back and do it all over again. I feel cleaner than I have in my entire life. By the end, I simply stand in the hot stream of water and breathe in deep. Some type of bell chimes, and the rush of water turns to a trickle, and then shuts off entirely. I feel refreshed, and yet I suddenly would like nothing more than to find a soft bed and sleep forever. I open the glass door and reach for one of those blanket-sized towels. I freeze, still naked, when I see Dara smiling at me, wearing nothing but her small clothes. I quickly grab a towel and pull it around me. "It's my turn." Dara pushes her thoughts out to me. "I couldn't wait." I chuckle and step aside. "You will love it, Dara." I find myself echoing Cressa's words. It is amazing. I step past Dara and turn my back to her, giving her some privacy as she finishes undressing and I towel off. I stop and stare down at where I'd left my dress. "Dara, have you seen my clothes?" "In here." Cressa's voice comes from the next room over. For a moment, I believe that fool girl is playing some kind of prank, hiding my clothing from me. I walk into the next room with my towel covering me and blink in surprise. "You had best remove that, Cressa, or Raven will be cross." Cressa is standing there in one of Raven's black outfits, both made of a material that looks like leather but is thinner and fits tighter. In fact, because Cressa is slightly taller than Raven, everything fits her a bit tighter, hugging her curves. Cressa chuckles and takes a step forward. "Relax, Tam. Raven's the one who gave it to me. She's letting me wear it while she washes our dresses and small clothes. I told her that I could wash my own dress if she liked, and I asked if she had a washing tub to use, but she showed me—" Cressa's eyes shine as her smile grows wide. "Tam, it is a hole cut into the wall with a glass lid, and it magically washes your clothes for you. Raven called it a—" Cressa pauses, considering the word. "A machine." She shrugs. "A washing machine." Well, I say magical, but Raven says it wasn't magic, but it sure sounded like magic to me. Cressa puts her hands on her hips and turns to the side just a bit. "So, how do I look?" I take in Cressa with her short hair and pants. "You look like a boy." Cressa takes another step forward and smirks. "Do you really think so?" I feel my face heat up a little. "No. In truth, no. I said that in jest." In the tight pants, the curves of Cressa's hips and waist are even more apparent, and the tunic pulls tight across her chest. She definitely does not look like a boy. Another step toward me, and Cressa's eyes move up and down my body as if studying me. Her voice is soft. "You do not look like a boy either, Tam." I suddenly remember that I am only wearing a towel, and I pull it a little tighter. "Well, I should certainly hope not. I am not a boy." Cressa simply keeps smiling. "Nor am I." My cheeks feel hot, even though I can feel the cold breeze on my bare legs. You continue to tell me things I already... It is only then that I realize what I am standing on. I look down and see a floor that is soft and dark blue. It is like the cloth of the towel, but even softer. I curl the toes of my bare feet, and it is like the floor is giving my feet a hug. It leaves me almost breathless. "Cressa, what is this on the floor? It is like a rug, but yes, Cressa giggles. Raven calls it a carpet. As you say, it's like a rug, but it covers the entire floor. And it's in every bedroom. And it is so very much softer than a rug, isn't it? That is when I realize that Cressa is barefoot too, and she is also curling her toes. I quietly clear my throat. What am I to wear then? I do not think I would be comfortable in pants. Raven didn't think so either, Cressa says. So, she left that for you there on the bed. It's one of her sleeper shifts. I think she called it a nightgown. I reach down and touch the gown and stop cold. It is a deep, shimmering red, and it is made of the softest, smoothest material I have ever felt. I know, Cressa laughs. I felt it too. Raven said it was made of, satin, I think she said, although I've never heard of the stuff. She shrugs. But this entire place feels like a place of unbelievable magic, so she looks at me expectantly. Aren't you going to try it on? Even having grown up on a farm, I know that different people and different cultures have different feelings regarding being naked around members of the same gender. Some, like Dara, apparently have no issue with it. Having grown up with no siblings, I have always been slightly uncomfortable around others in that regard. But I refuse to let Cressa know that now. I give a little humph and let my towel fall. I quickly turn my back to Cressa. My cheeks are burning for some reason, and I do not wish her to see. I pull the large, wide nightgown over my head. It falls, soft and loose, on my body, and hangs down, stopping at my knees. It covers more than the towel did, but it is still much shorter than the dresses I usually wear. Plus, I do not have my small clothes, so I can feel a soft chill all over me. I turn and face Cressa. How does it feel? She asks. I can hear the curiosity in her voice. I take a breath, considering how to answer. The nightgown, the satin, is like a mere whisper of a breath upon your skin. I suddenly think back to Cressa asking me to make her a dress, and I imagine walking around all day, wearing a dress made only of this soft material. I think of something this soft touching my entire body, covering me from shoulders to hips to down my legs. The thought makes me shudder, and I bite back a smile. It feels like wearing air, I say, or a cloud, or nothing. It feels like wearing nothing, you say, Cressa says as she nods. It's that good, Perhaps sometime you'll let me see how it feels. Yes, I say, perhaps. It would only be fair. I point to her outfit, but I refuse to wear those pants. A bit later, Cressa, Dara, and I are all in the kitchen area, sitting at the small table, drinking something hot and dark and sweet that Raven has given us. Dara is wearing a gown similar to mine, but hers is a pale blue and looks to be made of soft, thin cotton. Raven and Sophia enter the room. Their back-and-forth glances make me think that they have been talking. It is the same look I have seen my parents give each other after a long discussion. So, Raven says with a sigh, I know I promised you guys some information, and I will, I promise. I'll tell you everything, but maybe not tonight, okay? It's already late, we're all tired, and this is the kind of stuff where I don't want to stop talking until I've covered everything and answered all your questions. You deserve that. But like I said, it's late and we're tired. She nods over to Dara, who's yawning wide. Dara there looks like she's about to fall over. So are we all good if we wait until morning? I realize she's really asking Cressa and myself, since she appears to have already spoken to Sophia, and we all know Dara will go along with whatever Sophia says. Cressa shrugs, and so I nod. Morning will be fine, Raven, I say. In truth, we have already been overloaded with information tonight anyway, simply learning about this wonderland that Raven calls Ladyhawke. Okay, Raven says again. Morning then. Now, in a minute, Sophia and I will go take care of the horses outside. They'll be fine spending the night in the cave. It stays nice and cool out there, so... She takes a breath. But the Ladyhawke wasn't really designed to house this many people. So in terms of sleeping accommodations for us, we have 3 small beds available. Sophia's already said that she and Dara are fine sharing one bed. Cressa puts up a hand. Tam and I will share, As this is your house, she pauses and waves a hand around, or your whatever it is you call this thing. Either way, you are the host and we are the guests. Tam and I will share a bed. Cressa turns toward me. You don't mind, do you, Tam? Cressa's look appears to be a challenge, as if she is daring me to say no. Perhaps she thinks I will be an improper guest. That growing up on a farm has made me rude, a girl without manners. I smile, determined to show her that I could be as prim and proper as she. That will be fine, yes. Besides, I think back to how comforting it was to have Cressa beside me as we camped outside last night. Raven narrows her eyes, giving Cressa an odd look. Mistrust, perhaps. Although that makes no sense. If Cressa had demanded a bed of her own, perhaps yes. But she had done the opposite. Raven says, well, if Tam is okay with it. I nod. Absolutely. In fact, I insist. Raven shakes her head and gives off a little shrug, a look of resignation? That also makes no sense. The room that Cressa and I share is tiny, just large enough for a small bed and a table with a small lamp. But the lamp does not burn oil or tallow or wax like a candle. It simply casts out soft light, burning nothing. Incredible beyond words. Also incredible is the fact that Raven's machine has cleaned and dried our dresses and small clothes in so short a time as to be beyond belief. And so, Cressa climbs back into the bed, wearing a short-sleeved black tunic that Raven had loaned her, but instead of pants, she wears only her undershorts. I am still wearing the satin nightgown, which feels so good that I may decide to wear it for the rest of my life. Oh, gods, Tam, Cressa says softly. These blankets are so soft and warm. And this mattress, dams and daisies, girl. Come feel it. It feels like, what word did Dara use the other day? Heaven. It feels like a damnable heaven. A lady does not swear. I yawn sleepily as I touch the lamp by the bed. It magically dims into a low glow, casting the room and us both in shadow. And you, Cressa, have been swearing so much recently that, oh my. I slide beneath the blanket and I realize Cressa is once again not exaggerating. Like the carpets and towels, the blankets and mattress are amazingly soft. I also realize the bed is barely wide enough for the two of us. I can feel the warmth of Cressa's body next to mine, and I feel her turn and slide an arm across my stomach, hugging me close. And that is when I remember exactly why Cressa ran away from home and changed her name. Suddenly, the suspicious look Raven gave Cressa earlier makes sense. Cressa claims to have had intercourse with another girl, which is a ridiculous thing, of course. A very odd thing to want to try to do. I did grow up on a farm, after all. I know how intercourse works. You do not put two hens together and expect chicks. So how could two girls lie together? Then, lying there in the dark, I suddenly remember a whispered conversation I overheard years ago. Two girls in Haymantown by the side of a well. I remember one whispering the word naked as a question, and the other responding with a whispered, she felt so good. I rushed on my way and put it out of my mind, partly because it wasn't my business, partly because a lady simply does not do such things or talk about such things, and partly because I understand even less about how one might do such things. But I suppose there is a way. There must be. Cressa would not lie about such a thing. And now here was Cressa curled up against me under the sheets, her warmth pressed against me. And it had been Cressa who suggested that we share a bed. No, she had insisted. Is it possible that she thought we might? No, of course not. Still, Cressa, I say softly. I hear the answered murmur in the dark. I take a breath. Cressa, I feel the need to say, I consider you a good friend. I have only known you for a short while, but I feel confident calling you a friend, and a good friend at that. And as your friend, I need to say that we are only friends. Yes, you are very beautiful, I will admit that. But I will not be one of your, I searched for the word, pillow girls. That is what I heard someone call it once. I admit I do not know what that means exactly, but I think it perhaps involved engaging in intercourse of some kind. Again, I admit I am not sure. And I'll have you know I am not promiscuous. A lady is not promiscuous. And I am a lady, or at least I try to be. Not that I am judging you, of course. I am not. I do not care what you have done in your past, or what you do in your future. Well, no, I do care what you do now, because I just mean, I take another breath. Well, here it is. While you and I are in bed together, I expect you to act like a lady. Is that clear, Cressa? There is only silence in reply. Cressa? This time I hear a reply, a long, low snore from Cressa, who is now curled up next to me, sleeping. I can feel her slow, rhythmic breathing as she nuzzles her chin next to my shoulder and hugs me close. I feel the warm heat of embarrassment flood me. How absolutely foolish of me to think that Cressa would ever try to... No, of course not. I let my body relax, and then I realize this is not at all like last night out on the grasslands. Here, our bodies touch, soft and warm, without the rough cloaks and dresses and coverings pushing and scratching between us. Here, in this bed, our curves fit nicely together, and like the satin nightgown, the feeling of Cressa snuggled into me is quite delightful. I close my eyes, a small smile on my face, as I fall asleep next to my good friend, Cressa.